Okay guys, welcome back for another segment of our Best of 2019 series. So we've done some drivers so far.
Yep.
We've done fairway woods. Today we're going to have a little look at the players' cavity market.
If we had to guess handicap range, I'll tell you what I think first.
Okay.
To me, it's unlimited on the plus side. Let's say as good a player as there is.
Sure.
Like, obviously, PGA Tour players play irons like this, so
absolutely.
The low end is unlimited, and then I would say probably up to like 12, 13 handicap, depending on how good of a ball striker you are.
I would say comfortably there.
Yeah,
comfortably there, and with the exception of the odd person who hits it really good and has maybe a bit of a ropey short game or something like that,
can't putt or something like that. Which I'm aware of. I'm aware of that whole thing.
So yeah, that would be the range, sort of scratch to 12.
Yeah.
Let's call it that. I think that's a really good sort of way to identify these guys. So we have P760.
Yes.
Our best seller in this category this year in the store.
Yeah, I didn't know that at all.
With that. We've done really good with that. It's a high performer. I think by nature of being a combo set, it fits a really wide demographic. So you get help in the longs. You have a nice kind of solid feeling short iron because it doesn't have the speed foam. It isn't hollow once you get down into that 8, 9 and wedge and the gap wedge. But you start to have a little bit more forgiveness in the 7.6, and it gets progressively more as you get into the long irons.
Smart design.
Yep. Srixon 785 continues to be one of the best performing irons.
No surprise.
From a value standpoint, really, to be honest, pretty impossible to beat those guys.
Is that right?
Yeah, pretty much.
They're a little bit better in price than what we're talking about with the rest of them?
They are. I mean, I think the next one that we would probably talk to is the closest in comparison to, which would be the 919 Forged.
Yep.
That one still gets a ton of usage.
Nice. Callaway Apex Pro.
Yeah, a bit of a sneaky one at times. I think people get a little bit more performance out of that one. You can almost sneak a little higher in the handicap range with that one.
Okay. A little hidden forgiveness.
Yeah, a little bit of hidden forgiveness and performance. It really masks mishits, toe and heel very, very well.
And then last but not least,
my babies.
Your babies, still in love with them.
Yeah.
It isn't a club that's had the full season here, but it has, needless to say, been impressive enough to kind of warrant being in the mix.
Definitely.
Even though it kind of got half a season. Is that about right?
Yeah, well, I think we were up there, weren't we, in July, August sort of time,
summer,
with Ryan up at Eagle's Nest and testing those guys. I think it's the T100's everything that was missing from the AP2 line while that was around. So it took all the technology, the tungsten that was in there, the performance, really kind of trimmed down that top line.
It's very nice.
And it's hard to imagine a much better looking player's cavity iron than that.
With a bunch of tech in the back.
With a bunch of tech there, they're very forgiving. Yeah. They're no slouch on distance. I certainly haven't noticed any loss going from my 765s into these, and we all know how good the 765s were. You're still playing yours.
Yep.
So they are very good. So that's our 5 that we're going to run through today. We've got our categories that we're going to look for the best of in each category. We're looking at value, sound, feel, look, forgiveness, consistency, and how often it produces the same ball speed, the same lodge, same spin, that sort of thing.
All the same loft, all the same lie, all going to be used the same shaft. So.
Yeah. We're going to be doing everything we can to just extract the performance out of the heads.
Perfect. Okay. So let's start with P760.
Perfect.
It's a good start.
Ooh.
Go in.
Oh.
Go a little right. Oh!
There was a slight pause from the gallery there as they thought that one was going in.
A slight inhale. A little toey. I don't think it's going to matter on the ball flight though.
It's lovely. That's nice.
It looks like it's got kind of a nice stable flight to it. Good amount of spin.
Ooh, sounded good.
Yep.
I'll go out on a limb and say that sounded better than any of the P760s that you hit.
It sounded more kind of solid, didn't it?
Very solid, that one. Fraction heavy?
Yes. Might see why you like these.
Good set of irons, these, Matt, eh?
They're not bad, yeah. It's not too bad. These first 3 irons are very close, like address. Mm-hmm. They're very, very close. The only thing I really notice is like finish difference, and this one's a little more rounded toe, but very, very similar.
Do you see a slightly larger profile on the Strickland head versus the first 2?
I wasn't sure if it was the groove or the face kind of, what do you call this? The hitting area, I guess. Yeah. I was wondering if it was just bigger. It looks longer heel to toe, but I wasn't sure if that was just the way they've spread this out.
Okay. Aim left and hit it there. That's nice.
Geez, it feels very jumpy, this.
Really quick, this one.
Oof.
That's nice.
It just seems to have more juice.
Does seem to be a little bit. This is exactly the same loft as the others, but it definitely has a little difference.
Is it flatter too?
Yeah. Oh, that sounded awfully good.
It feels great. It just feels like they go further. 6-7 yards further. Surprisingly, being a Mizuno, this is the biggest, chunkiest one to dress, isn't it?
Of the lot.
Of those group, yeah. It's not like offensive looking, but comparatively, it's bigger.
It's more generous.
Yep.
That's nice.
It's nice.
It's really high, that one.
Yeah, it looks like it went to the moon. It's hit probably a little better. A couple yards
really
extra.
Nice. Sounded smashing.
They've kind of balanced. The head's bigger, but I think the offset is similar to the other ones, so it's not like it's really affecting the direction. It just seems like the ball gets up in the air a bit easier.
Are you surprised how well you're hitting this one?
A little bit, yeah. A little bit.
Just because of the look?
Probably, and I also I don't think I've spent much time hitting it.
No, you definitely haven't. Get down. I moved that green back as well. That sounded good.
Goodie. That's nice. Oh, yes. This one seems to be one of the quicker ones.
So, in our sort of rundown there, I mean, it is remarkable when you standardise loft and lie, and obviously
shaft and everything.
Shaft, strike, not kind of have too many, really kind of different strikes going on, and you were swinging well there. So there was certainly 2 that stuck out that like they spun a little bit more, and that was T100 and P760. The other ones were a little lower in spin. Strixon was surprisingly lower in launch than the other ones as well. So it was quite quick, but it was a little bit lower in launch, and that kind of had a slightly flatter flight. You can see the green trajectory.
Okay.
So if we actually take out the others, it would be interesting to show a little comparison, a little difference there. So you can kind of see the lower flight and the flatter land angle with over T100. Actually looks a little different. You can see
that's a good catch, yeah. Because the ball speed the same. Yardage a little bit longer with Cirxon because it's just kind of a little bit more of a flat ball flight.
Yeah. So just that launch and spin difference is enough to actually make those look quite different. So that would be for a different player. That profile would be slightly better. And like we said, T100. That's what the sort of probably lower handicap guys are looking for a little bit more of that.
if I were to pick for myself right now, I would pick that because it has a little bit
100%.
extra spin on it.
So you've kind of retained the ball speed, but you've got a little bit more launch, you've got a little bit more spin, and it's with the same delivery for the most part. I mean, looking at those flights, start line and the curve line, and everything's the same. It just would appear that the Strixon launches a little bit flatter.
Lower window.
I think that's probably over the years since the Strixon first came out in the 745 when it first came out in 2014 or whenever that was. That's probably why that was such a popular iron for us, because it ticks that box of you can put it into the player who's looking to gain some distance, maybe flatten out the spin a little bit.
It was me when I first came here, wasn't it?
But look a bit better. It was
Same exact thing.
Exact profile.
That's awesome. So yeah, if you want to lower your ball flight a bit, then this is a no-brainer because that's got the flattest flight of the bunch.
Mm-hmm. Quite interesting. The one with probably the most tech in there was the Apex Pro. We know it's a multi-piece head, it's cup face, it's got some tungsten in the sole, and then the one with the biggest, footprint, the biggest profile would be the Mizuno, and they actually came out remarkably similar.
They're the same.
Look at that launch, the spin, the ball speed. I mean, really, the ball flight in those two was pretty much identical.
Yeah, functionally the same, just maybe half grooves difference to make the numbers a bit different.
Exactly.
So let's go through our little kind of rundown of what we think is the winners in each category. Let's start with value. I'm guessing you'll go Strixon after that little test.
I mean, I have to throw it towards sort of Strixon. Hard to see past the Mizuno as well. I'd say both are around the same price point.
They are, okay.
Both pretty much identical in price point.
So those are kind of a toss-up on value. I think that's great. They both perform obviously really well.
Definitely.
Look, sound, and feel. This will be a bit of a chat on this one.
Yeah,
subjective, obviously.
I think what
I know what you choose.
T100 and I think T100 and maybe P760 might be the ones based on how the 6-iron is, but I think we have to discount P760 for you because it is a combo set.
In terms of the feel of it, or everything?
Just in terms of you looked at the 5 and 4 iron, because they are quite big,
Yep.
you might not like that as much as you might like the 4 iron and the T100.
I also think, I think that's a fair statement. I think where the tie would get broken is sound and feel. I like this, but I think it gets a little too soft with the foam in there, a little bit for my taste.
Yeah.
And feel, I think, is just a little more solid overall with this. So if I were to put mine in, I would probably agree with you in this sense. It's close though. I mean, they all look good for what they do.
Yeah.
This is obviously, it is a smaller iron, so it's not totally, apples for apples because this is a bit more forgiving. But all things considered, that would be my choice as well.
Okay.
Look, sound, and feel.
Okay.
So forgiveness.
We're probably going to give that to the 919 forged. It had the tightest range of sort of ball speed across all shots.
And yardage, right? So the result based on a mix of strikes with every club, they weren't all struck perfect on every one. It had the lowest standard deviation on yardage and carry.
Really squeezed front to back, that one, isn't it?
Narrow dispersion circle, yeah. And not a surprise, it is the biggest iron, so it's good. I mean, you're trading off a bit on the looks, but you get it back, it seems, in forgiveness. So that's what you're looking for.
Okay.
This one is probably the most interesting for a really good player, especially basically getting the flight that you expect out of the same kind of strikes. So standard deviation, the way we did it with wedges was launch angle and backspin for consistency, flight control. So it looks like
P760.
Looks like P760, yeah, by a decent margin too.
On launch and certainly on launch and spin.
Yeah, and we didn't really make a category for it because we don't think it really applies to this range. But if you made a ball speed category, highest efficiency, then Apex wins that pretty easily because it had the highest efficiency.
Had the highest efficiency, yeah, because you felt like towards the end there your speed was dropping a little bit, but it still retained all that ball speed.
It was the highest in terms of energy transfer. We got probably
fair enough.
Yeah, down to 101.1, and it was 1.38. So yeah.
Yep.
If that's a question for a lot of people, I think they want a little extra distance maybe in the players category. That's the one to go with for sure.
Okay, you guys, pretty broad overview of that. Hopefully you can take what you need from that. And there was a sort of wide representation of some different heads there, but within the same category. And the reason for that is it really is our deepest category in terms of irons that we have at our disposal. Either side of that in the game improvement line and in the blade line. You probably don't have as many options as we have in here.
Yeah, cool.
So hopefully that was good and informative in what you guys were looking for. So stay tuned for the rest. We've got more categories to come.
Yes.
lots more to do. Hybrids, we've got tons. We've
Yeah,
got
lots to do.
putters.
I know we didn't do putters at all. We must do putters this
We
year.
absolutely will do putters.
All
There
right.
you go. All right. Stay tuned. We'll see you again soon.